Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, September 4th. Now, we asked for more Sex Wolf and we got more Sex Wolf. Ugh! This week was so good. First of all, Ronan decides to go to the Genoa City Athletic Club basketball court to blow off some steam. And let me tell you guys, I don't know if any of you noticed this, but whatever shorts he was wearing, like the basketball shorts that he was wearing, totally showed his package. Like, his junk was bouncing around in those shorts and I could see it. It was heavenly. Like, I have this friend who she's on like junk watch. She can see it, like celebrities. She just has this like radar for being able to see it, and I don't. I normally I can't see it. I'm not looking for it, but this week with Ronan and those basketball shorts, all I'm gonna say is I rewound it and watched it twice. And I think you should go back and watch it a couple of times too, because it is there and it is nice. Gosh, it was a Ronan-licious week because there was also this scene still at the basketball court where Ronan bends down to get his basketball and Chloe shows up and she puts her sassy high heel on top of the basketball just as he's going to grab it, and she's looking down at him and he's looking up at her hungrily, and it was so hot. I mean, there is so much heat between Chloe and Ronan. It is undeniable and just fully pleasurable. I just enjoyed it so much. Like, Chloe, I think it's also that tension. There's sexual tension there, and it just plays so well. Chloe starts reading Ronan the riot act. You know, she's picking at him. She's telling him, you know, why don't you just leave town? Why don't you just leave and get out of here so that everyone who cares about you can just get over you? You know, why do you continue to torture everyone who cares about you? And the breakthrough moment was that Ronan just looked at her and says this very cryptic line, which was, you know, you have no idea why I came back, and you have no idea why I left either. And the way he said it was just so cryptic. And I'm thinking like, well, you know, we don't know. We don't know why you left. We don't know why you came back. So why don't you just tell us? What do you expect, Ronan? What do you expect for when you just disappear without a word? I mean, of course I'm going to assume that you don't love me anymore. I mean, that you don't love Chloe and Nina anymore when you just run away like that. So it was an interesting line, and you could tell that there was so much more behind the eyes, but still at the same time, how can you expect everybody to just forgive you and forget and not ask any questions when what you did was just so wacky and so out there, just disappearing? So that line and the way he said that was at least enough to pique Chloe's interest. It was certainly enough to pique my interest. So Chloe, actually Ronan kind of goes away. He sort of leaves Chloe standing at the basketball court, and he goes back to his hotel room / apartment, and shortly after, Chloe follows him there. And what followed was some of the most purely pleasurable scenes that we have had in so long. I mean, it hit the spot. We asked and Y&R delivered. knocks on Ronan's door. And Ronan answers the door, fresh out of the shower. Shirtless, with a towel wrapped around his waist, and soaking wet. Thank you. Just thank you. Y&R. So Chloe starts like poking at him again, trying to provoke a reaction out of him, and pretty much out of nowhere, in turn, Ronan starts poking her. They got it on. Oh my goodness, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal! Like, there is just so much chemistry between these two, and it's this pull between love and hate and, you know, and passion, and they both have these smiles on their face too while they're having sex and just while they're getting into it. Like, we know that we probably shouldn't be doing this, but we like it, and finally, and like there's an acknowledgement of this tension between them, and that they're just finally bursting that bubble. And I thought I was going to die. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it a couple of more times just so that I can fully soak it all in, because Ronan's body was everything that I thought it was going to be. It was everything that I needed it to be. Everything. I mean, he's solid. He's very solid, and just it makes sense. His body makes total sense, and I'm so imagining what is underneath the towel. There was a scene too where they just showed Chloe and Ronan coming together, and then the shot of the floor as the towel drops down, and I thought, Y&R, did you shoot that scene just for me? I'm picturing it in my mind, and it is so wonderful. I could sit here and talk about this just for the whole hour, but there were some more important developments too. It wasn't all sex. Ronan actually started to open up to Chloe about why he left. And I'm waiting with bated breath, just trying to figure this out. I mean, they're laying there after they've just had sex, and they're having this sort of banter back and forth, and Chloe just straight up asks him, you know, what? I need to know, why is it that you left? And Ronan tells her, in so many words, that he had to leave town because of an FBI thing, like some sort of super secret FBI thing, and that he really couldn't tell her, you know, that he's already said too much. And as soon as Chloe heard that, as soon as he started saying that, she just shut down. You know, she wasn't hearing it. She you know, says, she said to him, you know, I think that the reason you left is not because of a work thing. I think it was because you were getting too close to Nina and Chance. And maybe she's right. I don't know. Maybe it's an excuse, everything that Ronan is saying about his job. Maybe he uses his job as an excuse to never get close to anyone. That would make sense. But unfortunately, Chloe just turned around and walked out the door as soon as he started kind of spewing this line. And unfortunately, he did not ask her to stay. I wanted him to go rushing out after her into the hall and tell her, no, don't go. This is the full reason. I want to open up to you and only you. You're the only woman who can get it out of me, other than Allie. But that is so not what happened. And I don't know. I just don't know. Ronan puzzles me. He's an enigma, and, you know, whatever the reason that he had to leave town, I get the sense that he really wants to tell us. He really wants us to know, but just somehow either he can't say it or he won't say it, but it's the fact that I feel that he wants to express it, that is a redeeming quality for him. But I need to know. I want to know. I'm tired of waiting, and for the first time ever, I'm actually starting to wish that Heather or just freaking someone would do a little digging and find out the truth. Tell us what is going on behind those sexy wolf eyes, because I feel like the sooner we get all of that mess cleared up, the sooner Chloe and Ronan will be able to get, you know, 2 more tickets to paradise, and I want that to happen again as soon as possible. I want that to happen every week. That should be YNR's motive from here to the end of the year. I want once a week Ronan and Chloe's sexual paradise. Please. Unfortunately though, there's a lot of unfortunatelys in this scenario. There's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of bad, because the entire time that Chloe and Ronan are in bed together, Delia is at home and she is sick. She has, you know, caught some kind of flu or some kind of other virus, and she's at home with Esther and Jill with a really, really high fever, and Esther and Jill are trying frantically to reach Chloe on her cell phone, but she can't hear her cell phone over Ronan's powerful wolf growl. And as soon as she gets home, Nina has to tell her that Esther and Jill took her daughter to the hospital and they were trying to reach her, and immediately Chloe feels like total crap, just like a horrible mother. And now I think Delia is going to turn out to be really, really sick, and Chloe is just going to be beating herself up over it. She's going to hate herself for not being there for her daughter, but come on, Chloe. I don't want to see you beat yourself up over this, because, you know, sometimes mommy needs some medicine too. Earlier in the week, Neil and Malcolm actually spent some time at the GCAC basketball court as well, and these guys practically invented a new game, Angry Basketball. Like, I didn't know that basketball was a full contact sport, but they turned it into one. Neil and Malcolm were really hostile toward each other on the court, and it's all because they're still not sure who is the father of Sophia's baby. And there was another paternity test this week that revealed exactly nothing. I had almost gotten my hopes up, like thinking, oh, we're finally gonna know who the father of Sophia's baby is, and no, there was no new information. But yet still, I keep thinking, come on, we all know the baby is Neil's. The baby is Neil's. Beat around the bush all you want, the baby is Neil's. Sophia and Olivia calculated the conception date, and it was exactly when Sophia and Neil slept together. So we really know, we already know what the results are. It's just going to be a matter of all of these people coming to terms with it, and how will the relationships fall out as a result. But we did actually learn that Sophia's baby is a boy. So that was at least a nice little development. And I think that, I think knowing the sex of the baby has changed things for Sophia a little bit. I think that it makes it more real for her. You know, she suddenly is able to conceptualize the fact that she has a son on the way. And I really, really loved the conversation between Lily and Sophia this week at Glowworm. It was really telling. It was really a great heart-to-heart, and Lily was very frank with Sophia. She straight up told her, you know, you need to start focusing on the baby and not so much on who the father is. That's not really what's important. And she also told her, you know, Sophia, when you first came into town, I thought that you were so strong and so awesome and such a great woman, and you reminded me of my mother. And not so much anymore. Now you've kind of lost some of that Sophia sass. And just remember that no matter who the father is, this baby is gonna be your son forever, and you have to be strong for him. And I thought that that was just such great advice coming from Lily, and I really have always enjoyed that relationship between Sophia and Lily. I think it's unique. I think it's worth exploring more. I think it's worth seeing more. And I also appreciated that in turn, Sophia was not afraid to be frank with Lily. She said, you know, let me give you a little bit of advice. I understand that what Cain did to you was wrong and all that, but he is the father of your children. And your children deserve to have a relationship with their father. And I just thought that was a really great piece of advice and a really great piece of insight, because Sophia is someone who has lost her father and would love to have a chance to have that relationship with her father. So she is someone who can speak to Lily from experience. So Cain decides to make the rounds to everyone in Genoa City this week to tell them that he's leaving town. He has signed his divorce papers, so there's really nothing left for him in Genoa City. And I was really sad. He's saying goodbye to Jill, saying goodbye to Lily, and I'm a complete idiot. I completely fell for it. I'm looking it up on the internet. Is Cain leaving Y&R? Like, I actually thought for a moment that he was gonna leave. But Sophia's talk really rang true with Lily, and it was enough to push Lily toward making a really huge decision. So just as Cain was about ready to board his plane back to Australia from whence he came, Lily shows up at the airport with a baby in each arm and looks at Cain, and Cain looks at her, and they just embrace. All four of them. It was like a family hug. It was just their little family was reunited for this moment, and I died. I was dying for that moment. I know that Cain has made mistakes, but he loves his kids, and he loves Lily, and I don't think that has ever come into question. It's just that I just can't get over Lily and Cain. Why can't I get over Lily and Cain? If I could just get over Lily and Cain, I would be able to move on to a Lily and Daniel relationship, but I just can't. I just feel that there is a magic between Lily and Cain, and even though I know that Cain has lied, I'm not ready to put that behind me. I just can't. I just can't. And I knew that Daniel was going to get hurt. I knew that Daniel was going to get hurt by getting involved with her. Damn it! That is exactly what I did not want to end up happening. Watch. Just watch. Lily will end up pregnant now. You just mark my words. Lily will end up pregnant with Daniel's child. That would be such a mess. So later, Daniel shows up at Lily's place, blissfully unaware, and Lily kind of pops her head out the front door, and she's talking to Daniel. He's trying to get her to, hang out, and she's like, no, she's trying to unsuccessfully give him the bum's rush. When Daniel looks into the background of the apartment and notices that Cain's back there, hanging out with his kids, back in the house, back in his role as their father, and seemingly as Lily's husband, and Daniel is crushed. He's crushed. And that hurt me. That did hurt me. I mean, Lily tells Daniel that in front of Cain, she says, we're not back together. This does not mean that we're back together. I just want him to have a place in my children's lives. But we all know that this is a first step toward a Cain and Lily reunion. I give it 3 weeks before they are back in bed together. And I'm glad. I am glad. There. I said it. I'm glad. Lily and Cain have a family together. And if they can work it out, I want them to. There is no loyalty among thieves. Jack was Katherine's biggest ally when she was sneaking Jabot out from underneath Tucker. But now suddenly, Jack needs to be watched? Katherine has hired Jill Jack back at Jabot, explicitly telling her that she wants her to spy on Jack. Jill's primary focus at Jabot is to spy on Jack. And Jill, her response is, well, okay, I'll go back to Jabot for you and I'll spy on Jack, but when, not if, but when Jack slips up, I want to be the CEO of the company. So Katherine agrees to this totally unfair arrangement. So Jill now has a vested interest in seeing Jack flop. And she has it in a contract. She has it in writing from Katherine. If Jack fails, Jill becomes the CEO of Jabot. So Jill could be undermining Jack the entire time to get him out. That's totally unfair. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised that suddenly Jill is working back at Jabot. Besides, doesn't Jill have a full-time job as an executive at Fenmore's? Or did I miss something? I don't know. I'm just very confused. Well, meanwhile, Jack and Genevieve are moving full speed ahead with their relationship. And you pretty much know that a Genoa City man has a crush on a Genoa City woman when he offers her a job at his company. So Jack decides that Genevieve would be the perfect new marketing director for Jabot. Problem is, Katherine has just hired Jill for the exact same job. So now we're being set up for this Jill versus Genevieve scenario, not only in love, not only where Colin is concerned, but now at work too. So I really like watching these two women try to one-up each other. It's interesting. I like Jill versus Genevieve. However, my complaint is that the whole sharing an office shtick has so already been done. It's almost like Y&R decided to rebuild the Jill versus Lauren storyline at Fenmore's, except replaced Lauren with Genevieve and Fenmore's with Jabot. So it just feels totally recycled for me. I want to enjoy it, but that just seems so lame. And this another thing, the second that Genevieve steps out of her office, this shared office, as if there aren't enough offices to go around. As soon as Genevieve steps out, Colin steps in, and he and Jill decide to christen the new office together. Again, same storyline. Like, the same thing just happened at Fenmore's. And I tell you, it was funny, it was cute, and I'd really love to go on and on about it, but I feel like I just saw it. The only difference was the hilarious scene between Jack and Genevieve later, where they're just casually talking and Genevieve is disinfecting her desk. That was pretty good. And I can't blame her, seriously. I don't think I could get any work done with Jill and Colin's sex juice all over the place. Hey, you guys called it. You called it completely. Because I hemmed and hawed for weeks over who the heck was Tucker's son, trying to figure it out. Couldn't figure it out. When the whole time, it was right in front of my face. But you guys figured it out. It's Devon. Devon is Tucker's son. So, after an exhaustive search and some interviews with some very colorful characters named Lollipop and Candy Cane, Paul finally discovers the truth. Apparently, Yolanda, Devon's mom, was also a groupie who was hanging around Tucker back in the day. I guess that was before she became a crack addict. and she had a child with Tucker and never told him about it. And I'm completely surprised that she never came begging to Tucker for money. I have a crack addict cousin who stole my grandmother's purse. Sunk to the level of stealing my grandmother's purse in order to get his fix. And Yolanda never tapped into Tucker for his billions when she was needing money. I don't know, I find that a little hard to believe that she never decided to tap into his endless well of wealth. And, you know, I'm gonna accept it and I'm gonna be fine with it, but I also will admit that there was a part of me that has always believed that Malcolm was Devon's father, and now that's just out the window. I just always thought that, you know, that Lily and Devon would end up being brother and sister, because quite a while ago, right when Devon, shortly after Devon came onto the scene, there was a lot of speculation around that, and, you know, Devon had a crush on Lily. He definitely had a crush on Lily, and there were some times where he was struggling with being able to see her as a sister when he really was attracted to her, and so I always just thought that that was the direction it would go. I think that originally that was what the plan was to make Malcolm Devon's father, but this is the direction that they've decided to go now, and I accept it. I think it's going to be okay. I'm pretty excited, really. Mainly because I feel like I finally have a reason to care about Devon. He's always in the opening credits of the show, and I've been looking at his face, you know, in the you know, in the midway point and montage, and I'm thinking he's never on the show. He's cast, he's billed. He's never on the show. So finally I feel like I have a reason to like him. When it's really been years since he's been anywhere near the forefront of the show. I just feel bad for him because he's about to get a really, really rude awakening. Katherine knows now. Paul told her. Paul revealed the truth. Katherine knows that Devon is Tucker's son. Yet, she does not want Tucker to find out. She explicitly told Paul not to tell him. Just keep your mouth shut. Even though Paul says, hey, you know, you really should let Tucker know that you know who his son is. Katherine, no, wants to keep her mouth shut about it. So then she rushes over to Tucker after finding this out and kind of tries to make amends. And at this point, I am not trusting Katherine. I'm thinking that everything is a bit of a trick. And I feel like she's going to use this Devon situation to make Tucker jealous. I don't feel like she has good intentions at this point. And I hate to say that because she did look great this week, by the way. I cannot not mention that Katherine looked phenomenal this week. I really like her hair with a little bit of curl, and she was wearing this rose red colored suit. It was like several shades, different shades of red. It was gorgeous, and this huge bunch of pearls, just like at varying lengths around her neck, and it looked really, really good. Katherine looked good this week. But now, you know, I'm skeptical about her intentions, because now that Noah has decided to pretty much bail on his record contract, he's left Devon in a really bad, really vulnerable position. And Tucker fired Devon this week because he wasn't able to produce what he was supposed to produce with Noah, and he wasn't able to get someone else to fill that role. So Tucker fired Devon, not knowing that he's his son, of course, fired him, and was really rough on him too. Kind of was just a jerk in general. Like, he was giving him the cold-hearted, this is the biz kind of vibe, and just fired him and got rid of him. But Katherine was waiting in the wings to be the good guy. Suddenly, she has decided that she wants to start up a Chancellor Industries record label. She doesn't have a name for it. She doesn't know anything about it, but she's suddenly interested in starting up a record label, and guess what? She wants Devon, her new grandson, to be at the helm of this new project. And, you know, Devon was so thrilled when she told him that she has him meet for lunch, little drinks, and she tells him, you know, that she's basically gonna give him, he's a novice. He's not even produced a record, and now she's making him the president of this new, huge company, bestowing this huge gift upon him. And he looks at her so thrilled. Just like he had just won the lottery. He looked like he was going to cry, and there was this tight shot of his face, just real close up on his face, and for the first time in a really long time, I felt like I looked into Devon's heart and I really liked him. So I feel good about this. I feel ready to connect with Devon. I've not felt connected with Devon in a really long time, and I'm looking forward to connecting with him now. I just can't help but feel really bad for him in the same breath, because he is about to get caught up in a massive tug of war. Okay, well, those are my thoughts about this week's show. Your turn. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? How do you feel about these revelations, Devon's paternity, and probably most importantly, the Chloe and Ronan sex fest? Please leave me your dirty comments. Tell me how much you salivated over the screen this week. I cannot wait to hear what your thoughts are about that or any of the other happenings in Genoa City. It's always a pleasure to get your ideas about the show. It really helps me kind of form my opinions in a really, I think, more rounded way. You guys keep me balanced. If it were just about me, I'd spend like the entire time talking Ronan and Chloe. But you guys help keep me on the straight and narrow. I hope that you guys are enjoying the show, and I hope that you are enjoying our chat. And I really love you, and I really appreciate all of the awesome comments that you guys left me last week when I was feeling under the weather. That's really kind of a nice way of putting it. I had another death in the family, and I wasn't really ready to talk about it. I'm still not really ready to talk about it, but I feel like Y&R really is my therapy. I know I said that last week, but it really is. I almost feel selfish talking about Y&R when, you know, something really horrible happens, but there's just something about it that, I don't know, makes me escape a little bit. And you know, Y&R has always been there for me. It really has, you know, for large parts of my life. It's been there for me, and it's nice. It's like a comfort. It's like my security blanket in a way. So I'm happy to be back this week. I'm feeling a lot better. I really am. You know, there's nothing you can do except for move on, and I want to just continue to do my thing and to connect with you guys and watch the show and share our thoughts, and that's what makes me happy, and that's what makes my life worth living. Well, part of the reason. So you guys definitely leave me a comment. Let me know how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and I'll be back next week to chat again about the show. Again, I want one sexual encounter between Chloe and Ronan from now until the end of the year. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that we're gonna get that. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Mwah! Bye!